Lillelid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lillelid.
Lillelid?
Mm-hmm.
Or Lillelid? Lead.
Lillelid.
Lillelid. It's a not Norwegian. Is Norway Norwegian?
Yes.
It's a Norwegian name.
Wait, I think
Is Norway Norwegian?
Norwegian?
Yeah.
I think so.
Are they Norwegian?
Norway. I'm Googling it because I
wonder if we have any listeners in Norway. Shout out if you're listening to the Expired podcast from Norway.
Norwegians,
Mm-hmm.
Norwegian or Nordmen are an ethnic group and nation native to Norway,
Okay, Norwegians. Yeah.
where they form the vast majority of the population.
Really?
They share a common culture and speak the Norwegian language. Norwegians are descended from the Norse of the early Middle Ages, who formed a United Kingdom of Norway in the 9th century. There we go.
Facts.
Shout out to Norway.
Shout out to Norway. If you're listening from Norway, find a way to contact us because that's super cool.
Yep.
Because the Lillelid family, the Lillelid murders. What? Am I saying it wrong?
No, I feel like we're both gonna struggle with this name so bad the whole time. Our southern accents and the way our tongues move does not.
Lillelid.
And we're so slow and lazy. Lillelid.
So many syllables.
Yeah, and L's.
Lillelid. Okay, but that's who we're going to be talking about today. You may have heard about this case. It happened back in 1997, but it's a really, really interesting case, and there have been some more recent updates to the case. So make sure you're following us on all of our social media. New episodes out every Monday at 6, wherever you download podcast. So Vidar Lillelid was an immigrant from Bergen, Norway. That's where he grew up. He landed in Miami, Florida in 1985. And that is where he would meet the love of his life.
Ooh.
Her name was Delfina. I don't think I can pronounce the last name. Delea?
It's a Z.
I mean, Zelaya. Delfina Zelaya.
Zelaya.
Her name's Delfina.
Yep.
She was a Honduran American from New York City. And they actually met through their church. They were both Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay.
I was just reading about Jehovah's Witnesses in this book that is titled Cults. Not saying that any religion is that.
I will allege and give my opinion that in my experience, because I have some family, it's somewhat on par.
It gives those vibes.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. But they were both Jehovah's Witnesses. The two quickly married, and they wanted to start a family in a little bit of a safer area than Miami, Florida. And that's what moved them to Knoxville, Tennessee. And as the Lillelids settled into their, church life and their life in Tennessee, they welcomed a daughter, Tabitha, and a son, Peter.
I feel like I should go back and say that even though I am a Methodist, Baptist, Christian, I do still firmly believe that all religion is the same book written over and over and over again. It's just they call different characters by different names. But I do also firmly believe that there are some people that make up their own. I'm not saying that's Jehovah's Witnesses, but the actual cults, people that are historically known for more or less criminal behavior.
Yeah. But it is kind of that though, because in that book that I was reading, it was this guy took over and everyone listened to this guy and he died. And then this guy took over, the president, and then he died. Or it's just come on, seriously. Yeah, make your own opinion.
I think a lot of, I think each and every religion has their own kind of subset where it was so overtaken by a human who had ill intent.
Yeah.
Not every religion is that way. Not every part or every type of one religion is that way. It's just sometimes in a lot of things, not just religion, when humans involve themselves too much or get in a place of control, they don't have good intentions. And sometimes people weaponize religion. So
that happens.
And I'll fight me about it. It's true.
Fight me. All right, let's get into the day.
Okay, I will say thank you for your daughter and son's name being Tabitha and Peter, because at least we can say those names. You said Vidar?
Vidar?
Yeah. No, I was sitting here wondering, I don't know if I say Vidar or Vidar. Vidar. Vidar seems right, right? And Delfina. So on April 6th, which is like soon, next week.
Yeah, it's Friday if you're watching this on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
In 1997, April 6th. So this week is the 27th anniversary of the murder. Mm-hmm. Vidar, who was 34, Delfina, 28, Tabitha, 6, and Peter, 2, were traveling in the family minivan for a church function. And on their way home, they stopped at a rest area where the family ate a picnic lunch. Oh, that's so nice. Did you ever have picnics?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Especially field trip picnics.
Oh, yeah. Those were the best ones.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. They stretched out their legs and used the bathroom before making the hour and 15-minute drive back to Knoxville. The family had an odd encounter with some teenagers. There were 6 young people, ages 14 to 20. That is young people.
Mm-hmm.
From Pikeville, Kentucky. Their names were Jason Bryant, Natasha Cornett, Dean Mullins, Joseph Reisner, Crystal Sturgill, and Karen Howell. They were traveling to New Orleans, Louisiana, and shortly after leaving Pikeville, they realized that Joseph Reisner's car would likely not make it to New Orleans, so they discussed stealing a vehicle from a parking lot or from a dealership. The group was armed with 2 handguns, one 9mm and the other a .25 caliber. So,
why did they have those at that age? None of them are allowed to have those, right? Because they're both handguns.
After 18, you can.
I thought after 18 you could have rifles, but you couldn't have handguns until you were 21.
I think it also depends on the state.
Oh, well, in Tennessee,
Tennessee has like the most lax gun laws in
Georgia. Then,
yeah,
because I grew up in Georgia.
Yeah, Tennessee is literally the most top 3 states lax gun.
Well, that's why we have the Expired podcast because of this.
Unfortunately.
So at this rest stop, it was near Interstate 81, right outside of Baileyton in rural Greene County, Tennessee. Eyewitnesses saw this encounter with the 6 young people and the Lillelid family. Vidar, carrying his son Peter, had approached Natasha Cornett and Karen Howell to discuss his religious views. Risner and Bryant, who are Joseph Risner and Jason Bryant, they joined the conversation, and at some point, Joseph Risner displayed one of his guns, and he said, "I hate to do this way, but we're gonna have to take you with us in your van." And as he directs the family into their van, Vidar pleaded with the group, offering him his keys, his wallets, anything to just be left at the rest stop. But Joseph Risner refused. So the group so Joseph Risner, Jason Bryant, Karen Howell, and Natasha Cornett rode in the van with the Lillelid family. Vidar drove while Risner held him at gunpoint and sat in the passenger seat. Now, Dean Mullins and Crystal Sturgill followed in Risner's car, like the one that they were couldn't make it to New Orleans. In an attempt to calm her children down, Delfina began to sing, and obviously one of them was like, "Shut up," or whatever, told her to stop. Joseph Risner directed the Lillelids first to the interstate and then to a secluded road at the next exit. which was on Payne Hollow Lane near Greensville. The Lillelids were then lined up against the ditch alongside of the road where they were shot. Checking their bodies, Jason Bryant stated these were his words, "They are still fucking alive," and shot them again. Yeah. The group then ditched the license plates from their cars and just discarded them at the scene, which is stupid, and then just left. Shot this family and then just took off. Neighbors on Payne's Hollow Road heard the shots and called police. Now, Vidar was shot 5 times in the head and chest. Delfina was shot up to 8 times. Little Tabitha was shot once in her head. And Peter was shot once in the ear, and it was like right behind his right ear and exited through his right eye, and another in his chest. Peter somehow survived this at 2 years old. He was airlifted to the University of Tennessee's Memorial Hospital in Knoxville. Doctors were able to repair a damaged lung, and 11 days after the accident, they had to remove his eye because there was just no saving it. Mm-hmm. He spent 17 days in ICU before being transferred to a rehabilitation center. 2 years old. Could you imagine? I hope he doesn't remember this. I pray he does not remember this. Because isn't 2 or 3, like, once you start forming, like, memories and stuff?
Yeah, I think there is, like, some sort of subconscious memories that you can have before that time. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, trauma is something that could be remembered before anything that is not trauma related. Yeah. But, like, being a person of faith, Peter was born to do something, because that is a lot for... I think that car has driven by 10 times. People probably can't even hear it.
But it's driving you nuts. It's driving me insane. Comment if you can hear it.
Yeah. No, but Peter, there's something great. His purpose is very important because that is really miraculous, actually. So after the shooting, the group stopped at a Georgia Waffle House, and they were spooked by police that were there. That's when their plans changed, and they were headed to Mexico. Where were these people's parents?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about their background coming up in just a few minutes, because all of them had not great backgrounds.
Again, when us adults, we have to do better. Mm-hmm. Not even just their parents, just adults. So, they're headed to Mexico. Originally, being denied into the country for not having the proper paperwork, they would eventually get across the border. While in Mexico, Bryant was shot in the hand and leg, and the group was stopped by the Mexican police. So, when they claimed that they were lost, the officers ordered the group out of the van and searched it. They found a knife and a photo album belonging to the Lillelid family. They ordered the group to re-enter the United States, where American Border Patrol officers searched them and subsequently took them to a jail in Arizona. At the time of their arrest, which was 2 days after the murders, several of them had personal items belonging to the Lillelids in their possession. So, number 1, this is terrible. Number 2, they are dumb.
So dumb. Why over a car?
Evil.
Over a car?
Because they wanted to go to New Orleans.
But also, like, just steal
the car.
Just steal the car.
Just steal the car and go to New Orleans.
That's what these people were just like. It's just not. There's no purpose to it. There's no purpose to this whole family being annihilated and all of the trauma on Peter.
No.
There's just no way.
There's zero reason. Just take the car.
Yeah. But a lot of time when you're young, a lot of behaviors are learned. So let's get into who this group of 6 kind of were. They all knew each other through their school. They went to Betsy Lane High School. Natasha Cornett was an 18-year-old. She had only went to school through 9th grade and dropped out. She was in and out of juvenile detention centers. One time at 14, she was arrested for forgery. And then on her 17th birthday, she was arrested for assaulting her mother with a knife on her 17th birthday.
Wow.
Now, Natasha was engaged to Dean Mullins. Dean was a pretty, straight and narrow guy. He was 19 years old. He had graduated high school. He was working at a grocery store. They were friends with Joseph Risner, who is 20. He's the oldest of the group. He actually was a really good student, and after he finished high school, he enrolled in the Army. He was then kicked out of the Army because he failed a drug test for marijuana. So he was kicked out, and he was back home, hanging out with his high school buddies. And they were all friends. Now, Dean's friend, Crystal Sturgill, she had an even brighter future. She had a little bit of tragedy in her life. She had claimed some sexual abuse from a step-parent, but she scored a 28 on her ACT.
Yeah, that's
impressive.
And the highest you can get? 32, 34?
Something in the 30s.
Yeah, that's 28's good.
Super smart. And she was already working in the field she wanted to work in, which was childcare. And she was preparing for college. Crystal loved her friend Dean, but she did not like Dean's girlfriend, fiance, Natasha. She thought, Natasha is bad news. Look at you. You've got all this good things going for you. Why would you date this girl? Now, Karen Howell, 17, and Jason Bryant, 14, who were also part of this friend group, they were said to have low IQs in the 80s. And they completed the group who committed this crime. They were the young ones of the group.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I will say, I don't know the exact stats on it or whatever, but I do know that people who commit heinous crimes like this and certain things, having a low IQ can be telling.
And that's why I wrote it, not to just say it.
Again, I think a lot of this, especially having a low IQ, adults, we have to do better because at some point there aren't adults trying to guide this young person through life and help them out when they need help. They need assistance in learning or social things, but instead they're just forgotten. So I feel like every case it's proving us as adults have to do a better job, not just with our children. I'm saying just all adults, any adults that, especially in a position or a career that is meant to help children or to be paying attention. You know what I mean? It's just week after week, I feel like.
When I was a mandated preschool teacher, mandated meaning if you notice any sign of abuse or anything, trauma, you call. I called them so many times.
Yeah.
I was eager to annoy them with my calls.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to call ever.
Yes. That's
and anyone can call, actually. You don't have to be mandated to call and report something that you saw.
Right. But also, even if you're a teacher or some sort of guidance counselor or coach, anything, sometimes with the IQ thing, sometimes low IQ, it tells nothing, but they need a little bit more guidance. But that's not a reason to just feel like some people just get so lazy about it, you know, and oh, it's helpless. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Your job is not to be helpless to young people. It's to help young people.
Yeah.
Okay, so all 6 defendants were convicted of felony murder as participants in felony kidnapping and carjacking that resulted in 3 murders, so 3 life sentences each, and attempted murder, 25 years each. They all received 3 life sentences for each murder, 1 for each murder, and an additional 25 years for the attempted murder of Peter. The 6 youths were sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. The judge applied the same aggravated circumstances for all. However, it was not determined which of them had the main blame for the killings. Court testimony by the other defendants was that the youngest Bryant had fired the shots, but the judge opined. Opted?
I don't know what I meant there.
I think it's like his opinion.
Okay.
But the judge, his opinion was that another undetermined member of the group might have also done the shooting. Brian admitted to Officer Deb Mackey in Arizona that he had shot Vidar. However, Mackey's testimony was not allowed as Bryant had not been read his rights before he made the admission. He later changed his story, saying that Mullins and Risner did the shooting.
Mm-hmm. He was also 14, so... But why would... I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. But here's some... This is like the best part, because this is good news. Because Peter lived.
Mm-hmm.
Peter is thriving.
Peter's a bad dude.
Peter is living his life. So soon after, Peter's medical condition stabilized. At the end of April of 1997, a custody battle kind of began. It was between his maternal grandmother, Lydia, who lived in Miami, and his paternal aunt, Randy, who lived in Sweden.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. His aunt pledged to raise Peter in the faith and the teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that was the deciding factor for local judge Fred McDonald, who awarded the aunt, Randy, custody on July 1st, 1997. Peter was born in the States, but was raised in Stockholm by his aunt and her family. As of 2007, when he was about 12, he still had a little bit of trouble walking because of his injuries. And then by 2017, Peter had finished his IT education and was looking for work. He decided that he wanted to move back to the United States. In 2019, he did that to pursue a career in technology. He recently married the love of his life in 2020. Her name is Caitlin, and they're currently living in Connecticut.
Dude, Peter, call us.
Peter, call us.
We want to talk to you.
He did an interview, and you can look it up. He, handsome guy, like, just...
No, what a bad dude, man. Like,
smart,
what?
too.
Wow.
You have a degree in IT and you're working in IT, that you're smart.
I know a lot of people would be like, oh, a custody battle. No, I am thrilled that there were two people in his family that cared enough to fight for him. Mm-hmm. I do believe, I don't know anything about this custody battle. I do believe the judge probably made the best decision basing it off of faith. Because if his parents and the four of them were all very practiced their faith religiously. See what I did there?
Yeah.
But good on them. I hope he does still have a relationship with his maternal grandmother as well, and like any and all family. But dude, Peter, call us. We want to talk to you because you're a bad dude. Plus, I'm fascinated with people that are good with like technology because I'm not.
Mm-hmm. They have a different brain.
It's so crazy how it works, you know?
Yeah. So much technicality.
I love that this worked out.
For him, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. That's awesome. And he's so like well-traveled too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably super intelligent, which means his wife is also probably a badass. Mm-hmm. Caitlin, call us.
Holla.
We want to talk to you.
Yes.
Good for Peter.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the sentencing? I don't
I'm
agree with it.
a little indifferent, yeah.
For some of them.
Some of them, yes. The people who they should have nailed down who pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
I feel like those people should have been. They were probably punished in the correct way, life sentences. But then the people who were with them, I do believe they should serve time.
And a lot of it.
And a lot of it.
Yeah.
But They didn't pull the trigger.
I would also be okay with life sentences for them, but possibility of parole.
Like if you've learned something in the 27 years now that you've been in prison,
right?
Like, you should have that possibility. If you were, one of the girls that was like sitting in the car, one of the drivers of one of the vehicles, like they were only on the run for 2 days, 3 days. So at one point, I don't know their mindset, but I feel like if it was me and I was one of these people and I got myself into this situation, I would try and figure a way to be like, okay,
I'm out.
Peace out.
Yep, see you never.
All right. That was our episode of the Expired Podcast.
That was wild.
That was a crazy story. Very crazy.
Yeah.
Make sure you're following us on social media at Expired Podcast, at Expired Podcast 423, at Expired Podcast Chat. New episodes out every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I want to change my tagline, so you say yours.
Oh, you're changing it?
Yeah, but what was I going to change it to? Shoot. Maybe an asshole, be a funny one. Something about...
Maybe if I just say mine, it'll come to your head.
Okay, go.
Okay. We love you guys, and feel free, please review, leave feedback, good, bad, but if you're going to be an asshole, be a funny one.
And... Shit. I lost it.
As soon as we end this, it's going to come to you.
Oh, it's going to come to me. Something about be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
Be nice to yourself. And then yours was take care
of each other.
Take care of each other. This is the Expired Podcast.
Bye.